Prepare yourself for an in-depth exploration of the cutting-edge developments and current happenings in the realm of world affairs, international relations, and technology. Brace yourself for a fascinating journey into the realm of geopolitical dynamics and global power shifts. In this captivating video, we delve into the riveting revelation that the 10 nations comprising ASEAN have unanimously declared China as their preferred partner, effectively sidelining the United States. The recent culmination of the 42nd ASEAN Summit witnessed all member countries collectively acknowledging the imperative of expediting comprehensive economic progress in Southeast Asia. The resounding consensus reached at the summit placed significant emphasis on the implementation of de-dollarization, with China taking center stage during the deliberations. The entire Southeast Asian region attaches paramount importance to fostering collaboration and cooperation with the Middle Kingdom. This move was epitomized by Brazilian President Lula, who openly questioned the over-reliance on the US dollar for global settlements and suggested exploring the potential usability of the Chinese yuan and the euro. Notably, the burgeoning US debt crisis, which has emerged as one of President Biden's primary concerns, featured prominently in the conference discussions. The US Treasury Department finds itself grappling with the severity of this crisis, with President Biden even contemplating the cancellation of his long-planned Asia tour if the debt crisis persists. Consequently, numerous countries are experiencing the reverberations of internal divisions within the United States. However, it is essential to note that this is not indicative of a lack of concern for the U.S.'s international standing, but rather a consequence of the nation's entanglement in partisan disputes that impede its capacity to effectively address external issues. As the clamor for de-dollarization gains traction worldwide, ASEAN countries have taken proactive measures, with the push for the renminbi assuming a paramount position among their actions. Historically, such endeavors might have encountered resistance from the United States, as evidenced by the cases of Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein, who were ultimately overthrown for daring to challenge the dominance of the US dollar. The ongoing trend of de-dollarization, of which ASEAN countries serve as prime examples, continues to gather momentum. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar has proposed the establishment of an Asian monetary fund, which would pose a significant threat to the supremacy of the US dollar, akin to the impact of the euro. Concurrently, conflicts persist between Middle Eastern nations and Israel, as well as strategic maneuvers in the Russia-Ukraine imbroglio, coupled with the impending U.S. debt default crisis and fierce competition between the Democratic and Republican parties. The United States finds itself genuinely preoccupied and unable to focus on ASEAN's actions in the region. This unique confluence of circumstances has further emboldened ASEAN's determination to prioritize its own development and avoid being coerced into taking sides amidst the Cold War mentality perpetuated by major global powers. Undoubtedly, China's influence on the overall economic progress of Asia is conspicuous, with economic recovery emerging as the primary concern for ASEAN countries in the post-pandemic era. When considering ASEAN as a whole, one cannot overlook its stature as a substantial trading bloc, boasting a population of over 660 million and a GDP exceeding $3.59 trillion as of 2022. Not only does ASEAN possess a significant demographic weight, but it also maintains stable trade relations with China. In this context, the importance of energy cannot be understated as a cornerstone for a nation's industrial development and technological advancement. Without a robust energy framework, a country's aspirations for progress would be severely hampered. For ASEAN, which seeks relentless growth, the pursuit of new energy systems becomes a pressing necessity. Consequently, partnering with China in the construction of electricity infrastructure and the development of novel energy products emerges as the most pragmatic choice at present. Throughout the ASEAN Summit, the overarching themes of composure and development reverberated. Participants exhibited an acute awareness of the shifting global landscape, repeatedly stressing the imperative for other nations to break free from Cold War thinking and resist becoming pawns in the power games of major actors. Preserving autonomy remains a paramount concern for ASEAN as an entity. However, the newly inaugurated Philippine President Marcos took an unexpected proactive stance following his visit to the United States, expressing a willingness to engage in negotiations with China to address territorial disputes in the South China Sea. Notably, President Marcos intends to embark on these negotiations not in isolation but alongside 3 other ASEAN countries. This maneuver is likely influenced by the United States' as it aligns with their consistent strategy of disrupting ASEAN and cultivating alliances within the region. Marcos's actions position him as a vanguard of U.S. interests, though the extent of his impact remains a subject of scrutiny. Irrespective of any potential disruptions Marcos may cause within ASEAN, China maintains an attitude of peaceful cooperation and fair competition, which, in turn, encourages other ASEAN countries to remain united. Consequently, concerns regarding the magnitude of Marcos's influence are tempered. Furthermore, the summit provides an opportune platform for communication and resolution of territorial disputes between China and ASEAN countries. Should these issues find resolution, the United States' repeated mentions of the Pivot to Asia plan would ring hollow, jeopardizing years of dedicated efforts. Moreover, a more united ASEAN poses a formidable challenge for the United States, as the current global trend towards de-dollarization signifies a collective desire to curtail U.S. manipulations on a global scale. The United States strives to suppress this global resistance through strategic maneuvers, yet encounters considerable difficulties along the way. While U.S. sanctions have sought to provoke conflicts with China, the Middle Kingdom, steeped in its 5,000-year cultural heritage, remains largely unfazed by these attempts. Moreover, internal contradictions within the United States continue to escalate, even amid an impending default. Both sides fiercely compete for political power. The Democratic Party's pursuit of political correctness in a bid to garner greater support has inadvertently plunged the United States and Europe into a state of chaos. Should the United States indeed default, it may tarnish the reputation of the Democratic Party, but the economic losses caused by such a scenario would be borne by others. Adding to the political landscape, President Biden's upcoming campaign for re-election sees him facing formidable competitors in the form of Hillary and Trump. While Hillary trails behind, Trump has already laid a solid foundation for the next election, skillfully leveraging public opinion. Given Biden's age and his performance in recent years, it can be postulated that his path to re-election is fraught with challenges. The ASEAN meeting serves not only to underscore the increasing adoption of the renminbi but, more crucially, highlights the burgeoning cooperation between China and ASEAN countries in the realm of new energy projects. These joint initiatives provide an expanded market for both parties within the new energy sector, simultaneously invigorating China's stagnating economy and infusing society with a fresh wave of vitality. In conclusion, fostering amicable relations with ASEAN assumes paramount significance, as Southeast Asian nations are poised to become the epicenter of an economic battleground between China and the United States in the foreseeable future. The trajectory of global affairs is shifting, and ASEAN's pivotal role in this evolving landscape cannot be underestimated. The current global trend towards de-dollarization reflects a collective longing to curtail the manipulative influence of the United States on a global scale. While the United States attempts to counteract this global resistance through strategic suppression, it grapples with internal contradictions and mounting challenges. Amidst these intricate dynamics, ASEAN's partnership with China in new energy projects symbolizes a wider market and mutual benefits, revitalizing China's economy and injecting renewed vitality into society. The ASEAN Summit serves as a critical juncture for communication and potential resolution of territorial disputes between China and ASEAN countries. A successful resolution of these conflicts would undermine the United States' pivot to Asia plan and dismantle years of concentrated efforts. Furthermore, a more united ASEAN poses a substantial challenge to the United States, as global sentiments increasingly reject its manipulative influence. As the world looks ahead, the United States finds itself entangled in internal divisions, striving to maintain relevance in an evolving global landscape. Meanwhile, China, drawing upon its rich cultural heritage, remains steadfast in its pursuit of peaceful cooperation and fair competition. The ASEAN meeting signals a shifting paradigm, one that accentuates the growing importance of ASEAN and the pivotal role it plays in shaping the economic battlefield between China and the United States.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing for more content. Take care.